Hello and welcome. Welcome to our show. Do you know how much it costs to raise a kid today? Well, we're going to talk about it. And a little clue, it ain't cheap. So, the moral of the story is don't have kids today. No, just kidding. Happy Monday. Quit having kids and quit spending money. Just kidding. Your mic's on. Is my mic working? Okay, cool. So, as you're coming in, please let us know where you're tuning in from. If you like our content, please like, comment, and share. Tag anyone that you know that may benefit from our content. If you have kids, if you're thinking about having kids, if you don't have kids, tune in, listen up.
What's up?
You need this information.
What's up, John 169 Blue?
Sir.
John's a firearms instructor here in Georgia. So if you guys,
an awesome instructor.
if you guys are interested in increasing your knowledge on firearms and firearm safety, and you live around North Georgia, make sure to check him out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've gone to a few different classes. A couple of different classes with him. He's got a few coming up. So look, we're going to get into it. Why is it costing so much to raise kids these days? They need diapers. We went to a baby shower a couple of weeks ago, and we found out for one of my childhood friends, and we found out how many diapers, some astronomical amount of diapers a baby needs, apparently to poop a lot. So you need a lot of diapers. Diapers cost money. And things are costing more and more. DJ Greg says, I retired from making kids. He has retired from making sure the babies are coming out. So let's talk about that, because it is a real factor that families have to deal with, that people have to deal with. All these different things. What the impact it is. And what's happening today.
So we just gave the answer in the title. I didn't know we were doing that. Okay, so we already told you guys. It costs $300,000 to raise a kid today. Not that long ago, I think the number was like $250,000. I don't know if I thought that
accounted. Getting more expensive.
I thought that accounted for college. But no, this number doesn't account for college.
Yeah, this is just from when they're born to when they're becoming technically an adult. The college by itself could cost you $300,000, depending on where they decide to go to school.
They better be majoring in how to be a millionaire.
Don't major in some odd thing you can get a job in. So there's a lot of people. That's one of the things I realized when I came to America. All these people have college degrees, and none of them seem to be working in their field. This seemed odd, very odd to me when I first came to America 22 years ago. So I think people's views on college has changed since then, and now they're looking more towards going to the right things.
Yeah, if you have like a specialty that you're trying to be like a doctor, engineer, lawyer, sure, you're going to need to go to school, college. But if you're not really sure what you want to do, maybe start out with some junior college, community college, or start a business. Get into business and get some life skills. Okay, so we're going to talk about why is it going up? Why did the cost go up? Well, if you've been living under a rock recently, then you may not have noticed the massive inflation going on around. If you have not noticed that, maybe you've been on vacation somewhere living under a rock. But there's massive inflation going on. The cost of everything is going up. The cost of food, the cost of clothes, the cost of toys, the cost of diapers, the cost of freaking everything, okay?
Yeah.
And if you haven't noticed, kids use a lot of stuff. Depending on their age, they eat a lot of food, especially if they're teenage boys. So this is based on an article from the Wall Street Journal. It now costs $300,000 to raise a kid. There's a woman in here that they talk about who would have a family trip every year where the kids and the cousins, and there's like 10 boys. They would come and spend like a week together before school started. But this year they had to cancel it because she couldn't afford to pay to feed 10 boys because, you know, they're not cheap. They eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
And so people are having to make lifestyle changes. This is a huge thing too, because this goes to affect people's health and well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the cost of things go up and people feel that squeeze, then sometimes they look for cheaper items and cheaper food and cheaper things. And guess what? So then we start putting cheaper stuff into our body, like food that's not as good. And that affects our health and our well-being. And especially when you're talking about kids, you feed them cheaper crap, then they don't grow as healthy and strong. They don't develop as well. And so this doesn't just affect the ability to raise and pay to raise a kid, but it affects their overall well-being.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's when you really think about it, you have growing bodies, these young children, young men, young women. They want to do sports, so you want your kids to be involved in sports. So the cost of all these sport activities are going up. Everything has been going up there. That what Chelsea's saying, inflation will end up making people sicker. So what ends up happening is a lot of times people can't see the cycle. So it costs more and more for your things you want to buy. So you start eating less healthy. So you get sicker, and then now your medical bills go up. Your body's not healthy because you're not putting as good ingredients into your body. So you get sicker and sicker, and then it puts you on prescription, and it puts you on all these different things, and now
that makes you sicker.
Yeah, and then now Big Pharma got you hooked because now they got a medical condition. Why? Because that period of time.
Life.
Yeah, so a lot of times it's just the people. It's hard to see because it's like it happens over a long period of time, so you don't always see the immediate effects of it. But because it happens over a long period of time, a lot of times people don't notice that these are the effects of inflation. Inflation is a very dangerous thing to the average family and average household, not just because of the cost, but because of the health implications, because of joy. Look, when you want to, like the lady in the article we're talking about here, if you want to do something like this boys trip that she normally did, and then now you can't do the boys trip because of money, how do you think she feels about that? She doesn't feel good about that at all. So it robs you of different things. So we're going to talk about what should people be thinking about and doing, because you're not individually going to change inflation. It is what it is. The government prints a bunch of money. You're not going to control how much money to print. The interest on the debt is the fourth largest item in the budget every year. It's right behind defense. So it's creeping up. So all you can do is look at what the rules of the game are, so that you can play this better. You're not going to change the rules of the game. There's too many powerful people out there who make these rules, who decide to print money, decide to control all of these things. But there are certain things that's within your control, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about today.
You got to know the rules of the game, and you got to know that the game is rigged also. You got to just know that, and then you got to know how to navigate. Because, okay, right here it says, we know it's very high right now, talking about inflation, but we also know that the Fed is stepping on the brakes very hard and that it's going to come down. We don't know how fast and to what level and how long it will stay somewhat elevated. Okay, so listen, this is what these people do. Like, the Fed determines the interest rates, right? They know what happens when they lower the interest rates. They know what happens when they increase the interest rates, but somehow it's a mystery of what's going to happen and how to do it right. They freaking know exactly what they're doing, okay? They are lying to you when there's this mystery. Could you imagine if you went to your job every day and you've been working there for 30 years and you're like, well, I'm going to try a few things and I'm not really sure how much I'm going to do or what's going to happen, but we're just going to try it and see. And I'm not sure the effect of my actions, but hopefully it works out. You'd be freaking fired, okay? These are the people that are in charge of how our economy works and flows. So first of all, you got to know that it doesn't make sense. All right. And then you got to learn, okay, what can I be in control of? I can't be in control of what they do, but what can I be in control? So this brings us to point number 2. What can you do about it? Well, you could just decide, I'm not going to have any kids, I'm not going to spend any money, and I'm going to give up because the game is rigged and there's nothing I can do. Right? You could do that. That's your choice. That's, taking control.
That would make you a victim mentality.
Yes. Or you could look at, how can I increase my knowledge by understanding how it all works and what I can do to take responsibility. And instead of focusing on, oh my God, things cost more and how am I going to lower my expenses? Well, what can you do? You can lower your expenses to zero and live in a box outside. Or you could look at, how can I increase my income? How can I make more? How can I have more? How can I take responsibility for my situation, create more cash flow? And also, guess what? Those kids that you're raising or thinking about raising, you're going to have to teach them how to take responsibility, how to be sufficient. Because do you think the cost is going to go down when they grow up? Do you think taxes are going to go down when they grow up?
Nope.
No, they're going to have to make even more than you know how to make right now.
Yes.
So it's your responsibility to figure out how to make more so you could teach them how to make more.
You tell them, sister.
I'm telling you what, okay?
So what she just said there, that it's going to cost them even more than you're making now. Think about that. That when your kids are old, when your kids become adults, wherever age they are now, whether they're teenagers, they're young adults, you may have adult children, but whenever they reach your age, it's going to cost them so much more than what you are living on right now. And it's not because of accident. It's because these conditions are caused. These conditions are caused because of economic policies, because of Federal Reserve policy, all these different things. These are caused. Okay, so it's like chess. There are certain rules within chess. The pawn moves a certain way, the queen moves a certain way, king moves a certain way, rook, everybody moves a certain way, right? And there's two players have the same rules. However, you're not going to be able to change the rules of the game in chess. You can't start playing chess and be like, no, I want to change the rules. No, I want the pawn to move this way or that way. Nobody's going to play with you.
That's what they do.
So, however, what you need to do is understand the rules of the game and understand your own strategy so that you can execute well. So part of what a lot of people are told is they should reduce their expenses. And what happens is that's what they start doing. That's the first thing everybody starts doing. Reduce their expenses. And then eventually they realize, shit, I can't reduce it anymore. There's nothing else for me to cut out. And then because you spent so much time, energy, and effort on reducing expenses, you never increase your skills on how to make more money. If you think about it logically, reducing your expenses is not the solution, because what is happening is they're increasing the amount of money. So if they increase the amount of money, doesn't it make this sense for me to go get some more of the money that they just increased? They're putting more money out there. Are you going to say something?
Well, I was going to say, but what about the Inflation Reduction Act? Isn't that going to lower inflation and fix everything?
This is another fine example of your government attempting to pimp you. Okay, so
They're really good at naming things, and you can guess most of the things they name do the exact opposite that they name them, so that it feels good and it sounds good.
Look,
and you agree with it.
Don't get tied into the Republican, Democrat. Don't get yourself. That's part of understanding the rules of the game. Part of the rules of the game is to try to keep you distracted with this person don't like this person, the Republican doesn't like the Democrat. You realize that when these people get together, they don't actually hate each other. In private, they put that on as a show for you. They don't technically hate each other. These people do all, they know they're part of the system. They know they're on this side, and their job is to fight each other and whatever. Don't get caught up in that. What you have to do is realize that when these people do certain things, they're trying to pimp you. So they will name something that you will not be. That's a strategy to have. Let's call it something nobody's going to vote against or be opposed to. If we call it Inflation Reduction Act, first of all, it's over 700 pages, almost 800 pages. Nobody read it. When's the last time you read 800 pages?
Never.
Why do you think somehow the guy you voted, the lady you voted, in between them trying to raise money and all these different things, why do you think they're actually reading 800 pages? They're not reading those 800 pages. They don't actually know what's in it. But what they don't want is for somebody to say to them politically, you voted against the Inflation Reduction Act. It's actually a tax increase act because it's going to raise taxes on you. It's going to raise taxes on small businesses. It's also giving the IRS more money. Why would you, in the time of inflation, want to give the IRS more? What does the IRS do?
You're paying them to come after you.
You are literally paying them to come after you. So why would we want to give the IRS money? You think they tell you it's to go after rich people. Look, there's only a certain number of rich people. How many times all the rich people have been audited? Okay, they all been audited. Okay, the richer you are, statistically, they can fight it. So eventually, they can't go after all. There's only a certain number of billionaires, guys. There's under 800 billionaires in America. You don't need 80,000 IRS agents to go after 800 billionaires. They're already going after them. What they're doing is to go after small business owners, and that's what will start happening. And it'll start looking back on things and looking back on this stuff and all kinds of different things. So one of the things you want to make sure you're doing if you're a business owner is you want to make sure you're getting all your documentations and different things in order. We're speaking with our accountant, and we're like doing lots of different things to make sure everything is orderly so that it's done properly. Something you have to make sure you're doing. And so we're going to talk more and more about that. We're going to do different videos where we talk about that. But as these costs go up, you have to be very strategic in understanding that your government often tries to put things in front of you that is not in your best interest. And the way to get you to support it is by naming it something that you are likely to support. So to think, what's happening right now? Oh, inflation's high. What do people want? They want inflation to come down. Okay, let's call this thing inflation reduction. Even though, if you look at it, it does not, even from the Congressional Budget Office, says this thing will not reduce inflation in any way. However, it's a cute name that nobody wants to be against. And they can go and say, look, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act. I don't care about politics. I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican or whoever does it. My household doesn't care if a Republican's president or a Democrat's president. I still have to produce. I still have to take care of my family. I still have to take care of my business, my community, all these kinds of different things. Right?
Yes. So one way that you can look at increasing your cash flow, strengthening your financial house, is you got to understand what makes up your financial house. And so there are 6 areas that make up your financial house: cash flow, debt management, reserves, proper protection, build wealth, and build legacy. Okay, so those are the 6 areas that you have to know, and you have to know what they are, and you have to know where you are in each one of those areas. How's your cash flow? How's your debt? Do you have good debt, bad debt? Do you know how to manage it? Do you have reserves put away? Do you have proper protection? Do you have life insurance in place? Do you have a wealth building plan? Are you actively building wealth? Do you know what you are going to do to build wealth? Do you have a plan for when you can't work anymore? What if you get sick or hurt? And what about putting things in place so that the generations after you can build on what you have built, and they can build and expand and grow? And so
I was going to say really quick, speaking on that, where you're talking about if you get sick or hurt.
Yeah.
One of our clients got recently diagnosed with cancer. We put a life insurance policy in place for this person. It's a life insurance policy that can pay you while you're still living if you got sick or hurt. So because they've been diagnosed with cancer, we're in the claims process to get them money from their policy while they're still living. A lot of life insurance policies only pay when you die, which means if you only have, especially if you got life insurance through your job, that only pays when you die. Are you going to work at that same job until you die? Most likely not. So what will happen?
No, and go ahead.
But you can say what you want to say.
Well, I was going to say what's going to happen is you probably stop working, and when you stop working, you lose your benefits.
Yeah. When
you lose your benefits, you lose the policy.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen that happen to people before.
And then you can't get covered again because you got sick.
Yeah. So
it doesn't mean if you get any kind of sickness, you can't get approved. There's lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you get cancer or have a heart attack, you're not likely to get a policy right away. And when you are able to, it'll be a lot more.
Yeah.
It'll cost a lot more.
So look, in that situation, what that money is going to help to take care of her bills, her expenses, her household expenses, all of that. The type of life insurance we set up for them, they pay you, the individual. Doesn't go to like a hospital or anything like that. They'll write her a check. She can do whatever she wants to do with that money because of the cancer diagnosis, right? So understand these are important things to have. If that's not in place, now you have the stress of finances, you got the stress of feeding your kids, taking care of all the stuff, and your income just went down because you stopped working. You got to understand to protect yourself. Don't go backwards. So once you understand, you put things in place so that I don't go backwards. I know that there's this thing here that'll protect me, so I don't have to go backwards. Now I can just keep advancing. And if something interrupts my advance, then I know that things will be taken care of from here. So you have to ask yourself, when you're talking about building wealth and cash flow and all these different things, okay, what happens if your body got sick, you got cancer, now you can't go to work to go build all this wealth you're trying to build? Where will the money come from to take care of your family? Where will the money come from to take care of your business? All of that. Those are questions you have to ask yourself. And that's what what Chelsea's talking about here, those 6 areas. Once you understand those 6 areas, then you can be dangerous in those areas. You can figure out, okay, these are the different things I need to do in this specific area so I can build better in that area. Not build back better like the
that's another fun
build
name.
Better.
Build back better means charge you more.
Yeah, build again. It's not political. I would make fun of anybody, Republican, Democrat, whoever it is. I get that.
American Rescue Plan.
What I'm about is prosperity for everybody, regardless of which politician, which political party, whatever it is. I'm for good people making sound decisions and reducing our taxes and allowing us to have freedom to do what we want to do and build our businesses and live our lives the way we want to live our lives. And not try to tell me how I should live or how I should be. That's what I'm for.
Preach. What he is saying about not going backwards is so important. And it's so important, especially when times get tough, when inflation is high, or, when like we had a whole shutdown. It's so important to have your financial house strong, because when those unexpected things happen, that's when you rely on the foundation that you have built, or that's when your financial house crumbles because you didn't build that foundation. So it's so important. This is what helps you propel forward when you think about expanding and not just surviving. If you get stuck in just surviving and lowering your existence and thinking scarce, and lowering your expenses and lowering your spending, lowering your living, then when it gets even tougher, there's not going to be anything left to lower. So you got to expand. You got to build that foundation so that even you're expanding, you're growing, and even if there's a setback, you have that foundation to rely on and you're not going to crumble. So we actually have a free resource that you can learn about all these 6 building blocks, where you are and what you need to do to strengthen them. You can access that course. It's a 30-minute course. It's free. It's the 6 building blocks to your unbreakable financial house. And you can find that at 6buildingblocks.com/intro, 6buildingblocks.com/intro. It's a free course. And then we also have tons of other resources. We have courses. We have a membership site that you can actually access all of our courses. So if you want to know more about what we teach, you can get a little sample here with this intro course, and then you can see what else that we have available. And if there's any specific areas in any of those building blocks that you want specific help strengthening, then you can reach out to us and we're happy to help you. It's 6:30 a.m. here in LA. What time is it there? It is 9:54 here in Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for tuning in LA. So yeah, if you want to take advantage of that free resource, 6buildingblocks.com/intro. If you're watching on Instagram, we have a link in our bio. And then when we post this live, we'll also put it in there.
Yeah, feel free to DM us. A lot of people send us messages telling us about where they are financially, things that's been helpful to them. All of these things here. We do this because our mission is to make sure people become financially educated. So Chelsea and I have been in the financial space for a long time, combined 22 years doing this. At 18 years old, she was the youngest person hired at E-Trade Securities. So then she went into real estate and did other stuff. And then now, then she came back to this financial side. So being able to educate people about money and finances, helping them understand in a simple and easy way is something that we enjoy doing. So we make these resources available. We do lots of videos. We do have a financial business. We have financial clients. We have clients who with life insurance, retirement, private investments, real estate, different things like that, where we work with our financial clients on. But a lot of these resources we put on social media are available for you to use and use to your benefit to flourish and prosper and advance.
Someone says, I'm in Anaheim. I'd like to know more about that. I'm in the beginning stages in real estate investing and really need this. Awesome. Go to 6buildingblocks.com/intro. The link is also in our bio. And after I post this live on my page, I will also post it in the comments. But send a DM. You could send me a DM and I'll send you the link as well.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We're back. We'll see you guys next time. We're back. We're live Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll catch you guys then.
See ya. Oh, Rain, if you happen to be in my Instagram account,